Let's loosen this intercooler up. As you can see, there's 2 bolts in there, 2 bolts over on the other side, and we shall see if this thing has any more clearance to lift up. So ignore the torpedo heater. What I'm gonna be doing is I took the original boot that they gave me and I put it back on and I bottomed it out, right? So I'm gonna clamp that on. Then, because that's not gonna move, then I'm gonna try and put this into a good position where it's happy. And then we're gonna mess with the adjustments on the intercooler, and hopefully this works out that we don't need to call Banks tomorrow, because this has been a long, very stressful process. Let's just put it that way. So I did what I can do. Let's see if I can make this work. All right, so we got that clamp. I'll show you guys down from the bottom. We got that clamp in the factory position. It goes up and over the steering box. So you can see that's tight, and it is bottomed out where it's supposed to be. Now, like I said, we can start playing with this guy. I keep popping the rivets out of the bottom, so I'm gonna let them stay out until we are done. But I'm gonna try to bend these brackets a little bit and then get this thing popped up in as high as possible so that we can get this boot up in there. So, I'm not going to blame them 100% for this, but I will say a little bit. It looks like the directions here are kind of vague. But maybe I missed something. And this is where instructions are kind of important. So I do believe that this pipe that is slightly longer than the one that was on that side is actually for the passenger side. And I think that this one that looks like, so it would come from the turbo and do kind of like one of these numbers. I do think that this is actually the driver's side one. I don't see in here where it's saying numbers, because 42465, what's this one? 202. So they do have different numbers printed on them. So I'm thinking that that goes up to the intake and this goes down into the intercooler. Now I am messing over there with the all that stuff, but I think that's where we're going wrong, and it's throwing me off, because if you look, there's the picture. This one goes up to the intake side, but like I can see the sharper bend. So yeah, I think that's where we got it wrong. We're trying to use a passenger side on the driver's side. It's one of those. This is the only part of the instructions that look vague. Everything else, Banks did a very, very good job. But I do notice that a lot of guys, like even these little pieces, a lot of guys in their instructions, they'll even label these little pieces and put them separately. But I think that's probably the only thing. I will say my mistake can maybe make these directions better down in the future, is that label the pipes and label them in the directions. Besides that, I think Banks did a killer job on this. Like even like everything down to this. Like they did a pretty good job. I'm not going to blame Banks for that, but I am going to try to put this in, and hopefully that's the issue, because like I can kind of see it. I can see that working out, so let's get that installed and see if it works. All right, well, it looks like that works, because like, look at that. It's the little things, guys, I'm telling you. All right, that is very, very sturdy. That is not going anywhere. They are very deep in where they need to be. All right, now that that nightmare's over, I'm actually very happy. Okay, so I will take it back. Anything bad I said about Banks, off camera. It's a very well put together kit. I will say, yes, it is kind of a pain in the ass to put together. This is not going to be an easy job. Set aside about 6 hours. If you've never done this before, set aside an entire day to do this. I understand on 12 and back, you can do an intercooler on a 3rd gen in about 15 minutes tops. With boost tubes, maybe half an hour. But this is not a very easy thing to do. But yeah, I just got to tighten up the intercooler down below, because we do have it kind of hanging. So we're going to try to get it into a good position. And then we will start inflating everything. I got to put the clips back in the bottom, but we'll start inflating it with about 40 pounds of boost, because that's what he said he's running. I got it up to about 30 pounds, and as I was inflating it, I started to watch the fan spin, so the motor turned over a little bit. And then once we hit about 30 pounds, the motor hit a spot. And then now all of the pressure is exiting out the exhaust. But, because as you'll see, we can no longer inflate it with air. You can see it gets to about 2.5 pounds. So there's no leaks on the boots. They held 30 pounds, nothing blew off. I will say, Liam, go stand by the exhaust and tell me if you hear anything. Put your ear up to it. Seriously. See if you can hear this. How bad? Is it like, are you hearing air coming out the exhaust? Okay. So all the air is escaping out the exhaust. So, you guys get the point. All the boots are tight. We're going to slap this back together, put the spoiler back on, and then we're going to drive it. And we're going to run it. He said he was running about 40 pounds. So, all good. We're going to test it. Make sure he's going to get a good truck back, clean our tools up, and then we are good for the day. Well, we have good news. None of these studs will move. So, they're good. I went through, did a retorque on them. They're not coming loose. So, I'll have to figure out what studs these are. Because I think they have a lock on them, kind of, sort of like a technique to them. I don't know. They have something on the backside that makes them not loosen up. Because a lot of studs that I've done, I've always had to do retorques. So I'm going to ask him for the brand of these, whatever they are, and I'm going to recommend them because they do not, they didn't back off. The studs that I put on Josh's truck that have the little triangles on them that lock, so when they back off, they can't go any further. I even had a few of his back off, but these did not. So we're going to get the intake thrown back on, clean our tools up. This thing's ready to drive. You can see we got the front valence on. We're going to give it a wash. Like I said, from towing, you get things like this, a little bit of mud flinging up and whatnot. So we're going to take care of that for him as well. No, we don't do full details on these trucks, but we do take care of our customers. And going forward, we are going to be it makes it easier for us to work on stuff as well. But at the same time, it's nice if we bring in a truck, it gets a little dirty, we can clean them off, whatnot. We are going to be working on getting the over things. Can't remember what they're called, but we're going to be throwing them over trucks here in the near future. We did just go stop by the new shop the other day. My business partner did. He said they had dumpsters out and everything, so they're taking care of all the stuff from the previous tenants. Just like I said, waiting on the eviction and waiting on the rezoning. And he knows all the neighbors, so like everything's good there. They're not going to give us a fight or anything like that. We're going to get her fired up. Make sure we don't have any check engine lights. 24,000 miles. Diesel preheat in process. There's all the spare parts we got. We'll organize all that in a little bit. I don't like that. That doesn't sound good. I'm going to check that out here in a second. Oh, that's all from back here. I thought that was a leak. Alright. I thought one of the boots was like loose or something. I mean, it held 30 pounds, so other than TPMS light. Wait, can I turn? Is exhaust brake on? It was not. Let's see. The old Liam's going to grab my phone and a pair of sunglasses for me. So I'm gonna drive this thing. We're gonna get it up to temp before we start beating on it. Probably drive it tonight, good distance, and just make sure everything's good for him, because he's down in Maryland. So for me to do warranties on this type of stuff, I have to drive kind of a distance. So it is nice to be able to put some miles on somebody else's truck, make sure it's good, and then we give it back. So we are waiting on gauges for this too, so this thing might be getting gauges. You can see the silver ring and whatnot, so I guess that's what he's looking for. But other than that, I mean, it's a pretty solid truck. Like I said, 24,000 miles. Okay, all right, hurry up, boy. All right, so we've been driving it a little bit now, and she runs good. Other than transmission tuning, I definitely could feel a little bit there. If you guys remember, I worked on this truck back when it had 15,000 miles. It has 24,000 now. You can see, let's give it some throttle. Max out the boost gauge. And then exhaust brake, no leaks. We're gonna drive it around a little bit tonight, make sure everything's good, make sure there is no leaks, and we will, I'll update you in a little bit. All right, so we're coming back, pick up my truck. We're gonna take the other truck home. Then that's done, and then that can be our main focus next week, because I should be receiving payment for that tomorrow. And yeah, we had, like I said, we had the wheels and tires and all that, but we just need, you know, some good wheels, which the wheels that we're gonna use are on the 4th gen, and it'll look good. It'll look good. We have plenty of other options. I've also bought another set of tires, and we also have another set of wheels and tires for the next thing we buy. So, must be cold. Kick it into high idle. Oh, woohoo! Slipping on ice. What do you think of the 12 valve that I owned for a day? It's a 12 valve Cummins. Yeah, well, it's got 35s on it. All right, here you go.
I'm not driving it out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you how.
No.
Yeah, get in. I'm gonna show you some features. So, yes, it's unlocked. All right, so I'm gonna let her. I forgot I threw all my tools all over the place.
Okay, babe. After certain, there's no door for me to grab.
Oh yeah, just grab the steering wheel. Ugh.
I'm scared. You have no idea.
It's cold out here, but I figure I don't trust her to drive a customer vehicle. So
but you trust me to drive this?
Yeah, I don't care if you wreck this. Okay, so
hold on. You have your seat all fucked up.
Stop. Hold on. Before you do anything, put the key in the ignition. Turn the key on, but don't start it.
What do you mean?
Turn it on. One more.
Don't start it?
One more. There you go. See? Okay, now start it. You just hit the button. There you go. Start it.
Start it?
Yeah. And now turn the lights on to the left. Okay. Now what you have to do, put your foot on the brake.
Wait, I'm not.
Put your foot on. I know, but hold on. Put your foot on the brake. Okay. Now put it in neutral.
Neutral?
Yep, neutral.
Babe.
Put it in neutral. I'm telling you, put it in neutral and keep your foot on the brake. Now, take this thing right here and now you're in 4 low. Okay, now you can put it back in park. Okay. All right, now adjust your seat.
Can I get off the brake?
Yeah.
I need to be close to the steering wheel.
Okay, so there's a button on the left.
Is this fine?
Yeah, you're fine.
I'm making sure.
Okay.
Fine.
Now you can put it in drive. Put it in drive.
Drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you're gonna come up, just get really close to that. Get as close as possible to that.
Babe, I don't want to wreck.
Get as close as possible to it.
To what?
To that red truck. Look in the mirror. Alright. Now go straight up. There you go.
I can't see over the
There you go.
hood.
There you go. You're good. Keep going. Now what I want you to do, nope, pull all the way up, because you're gonna have to pull out that way. So pull all the way up. Actually, let's
Pay attention so I don't hit something.
Okay, you're good. Pull all the way up. Now, once you're all the way on pavement, stop and then put it in neutral. A little more, right there. Now stop, put it in neutral. No, neutral. There you go. Now we're gonna pull this back. I think that was, yeah, that should be. All right, now put it in drive. There you go. Now go all the way up, and then you're gonna back in Go all the way up. Pull up that way. Pull in there.
Where the camper is?
Well, actually, yeah, just pull that way. Go that way now. Go toward, yep, there you go. That way.
Her Jeep is right
Keep going,
there, babe.
keep going, keep going. Or to turn around. Alright, go. Come on. All the way
It
left.
feels like the wheel is stuck though, babe.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you have big tires and shitty power steering. Okay,
Great, that's
keep
perfect.
going, keep going, keep going. Now you pull down to the truck right there. And then I'll back out and you can follow me home. He's got 2 cab lights out. You guys can see she's right behind me. Driving my truck. Ask her how she did when we get home. Alright, we're driving her now. Like I said, we got some miles put on her. Has been no issues whatsoever. Thing runs awesome. Other than service the electronic braking system and all that keeps banging up at me. But she's running good. Plenty of power, plenty of boost. We are going to be keeping the truck though, because gauges, we're going to be doing IST Pro gauges on this thing. We got fuel pressure, we got boost, and we got EGT. There you go, electronic braking system. You guys, the reason we also didn't do an oil pressure gauge or a trans temp gauge is on the 4th gens, it already comes factory and it actually works, unlike like the 3rd gens where the oil pressure is just a switch. So everything works. Exhaust brake, I have it on automatic, so rather than putting it on all the time because it is kind of obnoxious. But there you go. And yes, you should always use your exhaust brake because it allows the turbo to actually do its full range of motion. But there you go. So if you guys enjoyed and you want to save some fuel, go check out Mudflap, link in the description. Also, website will be down for a little bit. We are working on, we just did a domain switch, so it should be another 48 hours, something like that. Cop ahead. Oh, now he's behind. Must have been over that way somewhere. Check that out. If you need to get a hold of me, the new email link is down in the description. It's steve@cpstevemiller.com. centralpalogistics@gmail.com is deleted and gone. Do not send it an email. We are going to be moving away from the logistics side come the future. We are getting super close to having the new shop. They just got, you know, all the dumpsters and stuff in there. So just waiting on those 2 things, rezoning and eviction. And we should be in hopefully within a month or 2. I know I've said a month or 2 like a month or 2 ago, but hopefully we're in it soon. We already have it. So appreciate you guys. See you in the next video.